I mean, Jesus put it very simply. If you will have the love, then the people will know that you're my disciples. That's the primary identity of the Christianity.
Welcome to the AsiaLink podcast. I'm your host, Jim Gourlay. AsiaLink exists to share the gospel of Christ with the unreached of Asia. We do this by supporting, training and encouraging Asian believers to share the gospel within their own cultures. This is episode 26. In this episode, we're going to hear from our partner. He grew up and lives and ministers in Uzbekistan, and he's going to give us an introduction to this little-known country. Really appreciate your time today. So Uzbekistan is one of those countries, a lot of people, they maybe heard of it, but they don't know almost anything about it from the West, or most Westerners anyway. What is a Westerner going to see when they come to Uzbekistan?
Well, it's a long question. There's a lot to say about Uzbekistan. But I think, yeah, you're right that people are not familiar with the region, especially with the Central Asia and the stance in general, and it's quite confusing for the Western world to see. But there is a particularities and difficulties. I think what unique about Uzbekistan is combination of history, tradition, religiosity, and modernity as well. So it's like a mix of everything together in Uzbekistan. You can have a very traditional society living in very contemporary city. And I don't know how it works, but it works actually. That's unique about Uzbekistan.
Yeah, so I suppose when I think of it, I think of a country that was once part of the Soviet Union, but that is now, obviously, the Soviet Union has collapsed. But the influence, it has had some influence, obviously, on the country. What are the influences? What's the legacy of the Soviet Union on Uzbekistan, would you say?
Well, yeah, Uzbekistan was part of the Soviet Union for 70 years, and the Soviet Union had a very active propaganda, and there was a goal of creating Homo Sovieticus, a Soviet man. And the influence of Soviet Union is still valid. It's still you can measure, you can even grasp. While here, in terms of the politics, definitely, it's a very authoritarian continuation of the authoritarian regime, as well as the dealing with religious activity, dosing and controlling it. Basically, that's also the legacy of the Soviet Union. Economy, agriculture is also still run by the government. So that's also like a part of the Soviet Union, but also as well as this type of secularity that been introduced to no, no, secularity that been introduced to the Soviet Union by the people here, and a bit the identity of people have been alerted and shifted a bit. People become more secular than they used to be, and they become more nominal. The Soviet Union had a very active program of eradicating religious activity, changing the script. We used to have the Arabic, but then we forget about that. And also, we've been distracted and we've been disconnected from the rest of the Muslim world, basically from the Sunni world. We're Sunni, and our neighbors are Shia, so Sunni and Shia don't talk to others, so we don't have the connection with the Sunni world. So that was the time of the Soviet Union, and it's still, even though that like 30 years passed, but still the remnants of the Soviet Union are present in society.
Yes, we're used to in the West, we think of the way the communists suppressed religion, but that was Christianity in Europe. But for the experience in Uzbekistan, it's the suppression of Islam, and to make it more nominal and hidden and or private, and to reduce its influence. So that's a different. That's something that the Western mind isn't so used to. So still today, Islam has a place within Uzbekistan, but it's more muted. It's more private, would you say? How would you describe it?
I would say for the most part of the independence, yes, Islam and religious activity. By the way, Christian also been persecuted, so it's like all religious activity. Doesn't matter whether Islam and Christianity. So that was the policy of the first president, and definitely it was muted during the Karimov regime, and it was taken out of the public life, basically. That was and the mosque and the religiosity of the people were very controlled by the government. But since the change and the death of the president, I would not say that Islam is now suppressed. It's open. Basically, the policy have changed. People are becoming more religious. People are becoming trying to bring the Islam in public life. As you can see on the social media, on Instagram, different bloggers and activists are presenting this. You can see even the way people are started to be dressed more religiously. More women started to be covered. More children started to participate in the mosque. That was never before. So, for the most part of independence, yes, Islam been suppressed and muted, but since the 2016 and the change in the government, Islam became more and more public and more people started to discover their identity, basically the pre-Soviet religious identity of the people. And historically, it's true. Uzbekistan has been a part of Islamic world for centuries. Al-Bukhari, the famous Islamic hadith, one of the trustworthy hadiths, come from the Bukhara. So Uzbekistan and the people in Uzbekistan, historically Islam been present, even though suppressed by the government of Soviet Union, then by the first government here, now it's becoming more and more active. And it can even I sense it while seeing the people outside. More like investment from Saudi Arabia, more mosques are built, more people are more active on Friday prayers. If you go to Tashkent here, well, it completely collapsed in terms of the traffic. Children are participated. That was illegal during the previous regime. Now children are taking part in the mosque, and it's like propagated. It's commercialized by the social activists and bloggers as well. Plus, also like Islamic banks are opening, government thinking about that. So yeah, that is the current momentum of Uzbekistan, and I'm afraid of that, to be honest, for a couple of the reasons. Because if that impulse will continue, in a few generations, we'll have the people who will confess the radical ideas. They will not be tolerated to people of other faiths. They will not be tolerated to the people of with the different opinions on that matters. So yeah, that is a struggle, I would say, and my own concern for the future of generation. If the momentum will continue with the same path and with the same force, then definitely in future generation it will definitely come.
What are the challenges for being a Christian in Uzbekistan? And I think I'm probably hinting that we've got one which is from Islam, but maybe there are other challenges from the government as well, and both, I suspect. But how do you see that? What makes it hard to be a Christian in Uzbekistan?
Well, you're right. There's like a two main challenges. One comes from society and family in particular, and this is the strongest one. This is the most difficult one. And the second one in the government. But starting from the second one, from government, I do fear, I think it's unfair. It's my own feeling. Like Islam is very open right now, and you can confess, you can pray. But when it comes to Christianity, we don't have that possibility as a Christian here. So we're not able to be in public. We're not allowed to gaze at as indigenous Christian. We still have this kind of the mentality that if you're Christian, you're Russian. So for the Russian population, it's okay to be a Christian. It's okay to go to the church. It's okay to confess Christianity. But there, in your place of registration, just there, don't engage in the society. While if they will be indigenous people, and that is assumed that indigenous people remain Muslims, but there's a lot of us who are indigenous Christian here. Uzbeks are Christians, and the generation of the second generation of the Uzbek Christians, and for them it's in particular difficulty. Difficult in terms of the registration and legislation, difficulties in terms of the confessing Christianity, witnessing to the people. So yeah, but the second one, as I said, is the most challenging one is the family and society, especially if there's a known one Christian in your environment and your circle. That is real tough. Coming to the violence, beating, especially if it's a woman, it's just unimaginable. how much suffering they are going because of this face persecution, violence, and beating, and just like, kicking out from the house. And it's Islamic society, and a woman in Islam, especially if she has been married and had the kids, and now she's divorced because her husband doesn't want to live with her. It makes more complicated situation. Recently, we had the cases of a young lady been beaten and she been pregnant because of her face, and as a church we try to give her a secure place just to live out of that violence. So there is like, even though it's coming, especially like in the remote areas, in the regions where there's no Christian influence, that's coming, yeah. But a family is the biggest issue, and nobody cares about your own preference. It's about the society, it's about the family, That's but the key of Uzbek identity is the family. It's the structure. If you look at the politics, we don't have the pillars of democracy. Everything we have, it's about the family. So it's run by the family. Economy is also family. Religion, it's also family. So it's not about your own decision to follow Christ. It's about the community and society. I think it's hard for the Western people to understand. And nobody cares what you believe in your heart. But it's a family issue. That is the reason why the family is so aggressive when is the first convert is appearing in family. Yeah, but that's the price that the Christian are paying for the way face, basically. Yeah, and that's we as just looking back to my own conversion, my family as well. We went through that. Now our like relatives, they are treating us okay. I would not say they accept us, but at least they're not as aggressive as it used to be. And there's a phases. And there is a high chance that the people will come to the Lord just looking how faithful you are, and you actually are getting ready to suffer for the Christ and His kingdom in spite of all the pressure. And the suffering here has a very missiological implication, I would say. A very strong witness, especially to the family members. That was in the case of my family and my extended family, and also I see in the other families as well.
What are the ways that you find are the best ways to do mission and to evangelize and to share the faith in your country?
Yeah, in the situation where we live, I think the best apologetics is the life of the Christian witness. When your life is witnessing, it's more about showing the Christian faith rather than talking about it. It's a more long-term relationship. It's not like one-time evangelization and it's better and it's done. We just there, we just share the gospel and that's all. So now it's a long-term commitment to the relationship with these people. I think this is very helpful, especially giving the network and the families. And the Christianity is spreading through the families and network here. There is something unique, something that draw people, something real. If you are with Jesus, basically Jesus is real. That's the point. And the changing that he brings and the transformation that he brings and the love, it's very tangible. And the people are very, they see the difference basically, and as they see the life of the Christian in practice, the way they treat the family, children, and that is the primary, I would say, means of reaching these people. Long-term commitment to the relationship, number one, and secondly, the life of the Christian witness when your deeds are more. Jesus put it very simply: if you will have the love, then the people will know that you're my disciples. That's the primary identity of the Christianity.
That's right. By this will all men know that you're my disciples if you have love for one another. And also he talked, didn't he, about a servant is not above the master. If they treated me badly, if they treated me this way, then you'll get the same thing. And that's the witness of suffering, which is very powerful. Yeah, thank you, brother. Really appreciate what you said and a little bit of a taste of what it is to be a Christian in Uzbekistan. And I hope that it encourages people who listen to pray for the church in Uzbekistan in particular and for their steadfastness and to continue to be that witness that you've talked about. And it's a challenge to us all. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening to the AsiaLink podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and share with friends. If you like this podcast, please leave us a 5-star review and join us again next time.